This video is on Unit 2.2, Variables and Identifiers. A variable is a name, an identifier, that is associated with a variable. A variable could be assigned different values during a program's execution. That's why we call it variable, because it does change as the program runs. Whenever a variable appears in a program, except when it is on the left-hand side of an assignment statement, we'll get into that in a second, it is the value associated with the variable that is used and not the variable name. So basically what this is saying is when we do an assignment statement, let me pull up idle here. So when I assign the variable Bob equals 10, this is the only time when we use Bob, it doesn't mean 10. It just means, in this case, Bob is the identifier that's being assigned to 10, if that makes sense. Okay, I know it's kind of a funky way of looking at things, but what it's saying is that every time from now on, when we do Stan equals Bob plus Bob, and we print Stan, oh, okay, so when we print Stan, it's 20, but when we're going in here and we're talking about, in this case, Bob is equal to 10. We're not actually using Bob as the word Bob, but we're using it as 10. So we're doing Stan is equaling 10 plus 10. Also in this case, Stan, because this is the where it's being declared, this is where Stan is equal to, or is the word itself and not actually the number, until we come down here and then Stan is equal to the 20 of Bob plus Bob. I know it gets a little confusing and a little esoteric, but there you go. Let me see. Get back my. Okay. So variables are assigned values by use of the assignment operator, which is the single equal sign. Assignment statements often look wrong to novice programmers because we use them backwards, right? So we're doing the name of the identifier of the variable, and then we're setting it equal to whatever we're setting, whatever value we want it to equal to. So it looks backwards as opposed to how you would do it mathematically. The right side of an assignment is evaluated first, then the result is assigned to the variable on the left. An example of that would be here, where we actually have an equation going on that is going to be evaluated, and then whatever the results of this are going to be set equal to Stan. And you'll see that a lot as we move forward. The ID function produces a unique number identifying a specific value object in memory. So basically all that's saying is that when we use the ID, so I'm going to use the ID function. I'm going to have to print it too. Stan, I'm going to print the ID function. So let's run this. So we see here that we get a big long number. That big long number is the memory location of Stan on this computer. So that is basically what ID does. We won't use it very often. It just is a way to show us where our data is being stored. So it's the actual location in memory that the data is being stored. Okay, anyway, an immutable value is a variable that cannot be changed. A mutable value, on the other hand, is a value that can be changed. Integers are immutable. So if we, again, let me go ahead and do this. Let's run this. So we're running the ID, printing the IDs of Stan and Bob. Notice that they're the same, right? Stan and Bob, the IDs are the same. The memory location is the same because we have an immutable value, an immutable variable, 10. So this 10 is only stored in one location on your computer, and both Stan and Bob are pointing to that data location. Now, if we do so we're just going to add 1 to Stan, so that'll make it 11. We understand that. So we run this module. Okay, so now Bob is pointing to the data location for 10, which because we reran it, we're getting a different data location. But Stan is now pointing to a data location for 11. So it doesn't change. That 10 stays in that data location and it does not change. It is not mutable. It cannot be changed. So that 10 remains where it is. A new data location is created for 11. Okay, now let's continue on here. Okay, so two variables assigned to the same value point to the same or to the same two variables assign the same value point to the same memory location. We just did that. When a value in memory location is no longer pointed to by a variable, the location is deallocated. So we've seen an example of that also. So when we first ran the program, it created a memory location for 10. But when we no longer had anything pointed to 10, when we reran that program, it created a new memory location because that one had already been deallocated. So when we say deallocated, that means that when nothing is pointing to the 10 any longer, that memory location is cleaned up and no longer being used. Okay, and a variable can be associated with data of different types. So let's go ahead and take a look at that too real quick. So let's see. I'm going to leave that, but then I'm going to do Bob equals okay, so I'm going to set Bob equal after this. So let's go ahead and run this guy. So what we can see here, the first time that we print Bob, it's equal to 10, which is an integer. The second time that we print Bob, it's equal to Will, which is a string. So that same variable has changed the type of data that's in it, just by the way that we use the association to set it equal to a different number or a different value. Okay, variable assignments. The value that an assignment that is assigned to a given variable does not have to be specified in the program. For example, the value can come from the user by use of the input function. So basically what all that's saying is that we can declare a value, and then it cannot be storing anything until actually something else runs. Like in this case, when the input runs, the data that's stored there is going to be used. So if we say John equals input enter a variable name, or no, sorry, enter an integer. When we run this, John isn't going to be equal to anything until the user actually enters data. So that data location has been allocated, but or has been pointing to something, but it's pointing to an empty space, basically. That's all we're really saying there. All input from the input function is returned as a string value. So basically, in order for us to change it and to be able to do math on it, input is always going to return a string, and we have to data cast it using the int or the float functions to make it usable. So let's go ahead and take a look at that again too. So we go to our idle. Let's go ahead and clean this up. Equals input enter an integer print Bob, and then we'll print int Bob. Let's run these. So I'm going to enter 10. Oh, it doesn't actually print with the string. So hold on, let's see. Hold on. Trying to think here. Let's do 10 equals Bob plus Bob will equals int Bob plus int Bob. I'm going to go ahead and print Stan, and I'm going to print Will. Module. Okay, I'm going to enter 10. So we can see the first time we print Bob, it's a 10. So we see that our 10 is entered, but what we can't really tell here is that this is actually a string of 10. So when we add Bob plus Bob, we actually concatenate the strings, which gets us 1,000, or a 10 plus a 10, which is 1,010. But when we use the int command or the int function and add Bob to the int of Bob, we get 20, because then we're actually changing it to an integer. So this one, we're just concatenating to the string twice. This one, we're doing math on the numbers. Okay, now let's see if we can. Let's see. Okay, so that's data. Some examples of data casting. Float's just going to make it basically a float where you have a decimal place in it. Okay, so an identifier. An identifier sequence of one or more characters used to provide a name for a given element. So basically, all it's saying here is that we're using letters to create a name. Okay. Variable names are examples of identifiers. Identifiers may contain letters and digits, but cannot begin with a digit. So you can't begin a variable name with a digit. You can use the underscore character, but you can't use it at the beginning. Because identifiers that begin with the underscore character have a special purpose, and spaces are not allowed in identifiers. So if you have a space, it's going to see it as two different things and give you an error. So that should cover the identifiers. So some identifiers are keywords. That means that Python has set up a predefined meaning for them, and they can't be used anywhere else. They're kind of two different types. So keywords cannot be used as regular identifiers. Doing so will result in a syntax error. So if you try to use print as an identifier for a variable, it's going to kick up an error for you. The same thing if you use int, because int is a function, so you can't use that as a variable name. So basically, you can type help in the Python shell and then type keywords, and it will give you a list of all of the keywords that are in Python. There are also other predefined identifiers that you can use, but you really shouldn't. So to find out what those are, because it can cause Python to act kind of freaky, typing the following will let the programmer know if an identifier is predefined. So you want to do the dir built-ins. So exit. So this would be the exit in dir built-ins. If you do that, where exit, you can change exit to whatever, any variable name that you want to try and use. If you're having errors, you can use this with the variable name that you're trying to use, and it will tell you if it is in